afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, teachers. How are you this afternoon? Selamat sore semuanya. I believe that in some cities it's already almost maghrib gitu ya. But well, yeah, no, still early anyway. 4 p.m. Okay, but in Jakarta it is now 3 p.m. Bapak Ibu. Okay, so welcome to webinar AI-powered classroom experience the full power in your hands, presented by Atlaz. Okay, so today, this webinar will be led by me, Nadia, and we are going to have a very exciting and informative session planned for you with our expert speaker. Okay, and then okay, before we dive into the presentation and also discussion, I would like to ask you to help me to change your name. Okay, yes, try to rename your name into name underscore or strip city where you live. Yeah, where you live, Bapak Ibu. Okay, all right. So I have seen here, there is, hello, Ibu Yerika. Good afternoon. Okay, thank you so much for joining us again. Yeah, we've just met. Yeah, we met yesterday anyway on our literacy workshops, and now we're going to have one more webinar this week. Okay, there's also Pak Eka Sugeng. Okay, good afternoon, Pak Eka. And I can see on our chat box there is Mr. Sharif. And then Mas Junatin. Halo Ibu, thank you for joining us. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, today, yes, we are going to have a very new topic. Okay, so we have we have discussed this topic last year, but today, since we have actually launched a new feature in Atlas, we are going to also discuss about this topic with you. But before we go there, I would like to share some important notes. The first one, yes, there will be e-certificate for you. It will be worth 2 hours, to our credit, and it will be sent to your email if you have filled your name on the attendance list that I will share to you at the end of the session later. Okay, and then later, since this is webinar, we usually will ask you to input 2 keywords from the speakers. Okay, but since today our speaker is Mr. Kevin only, so and then like after that we are going to have some kind of demonstration of online learning Atlas. Then the keywords will be a question later, yeah, on your on the link that I will share to you. Okay, so please be present here. If Bapak Ibu now you are not in your home or you are on the way, that's okay. Hopefully you can be with us later at the session. Okay, so now if you have any technical issue and also comments, you can use chat features in this Zoom, so we can our webinar will be more interactive. Okay, so yes, just like what I told you, our webinar entitled AI Power Classroom Experience the Full Power in Your Hands. Yes, from the title, we have known that, yes, the discussion will be about AI. Okay, so now my question, okay, can someone help me to write down what does AI stand for? Okay. So, Mr. Kevin, is that in your question? No, right?
Apparently not, so you're good.
Okay. So, yeah, what does AI stand for? Okay. Wow. Yes, I guess one teacher already answered that correctly. Okay, thank you, Miss. Nice. So that's not Yeah. Yeah, that's not a new thing for you, I guess, right? Okay, so okay, Bapak Ibu, thank you so much. So now our discussion will be led by Mr. Kevin as the Chief Product Officer of Atlaz. So I guess Mr. Kevin is already, yeah, ready with us here. Okay, and then if you have any question, we are going to have a question and answer session right after the presentation from Mr. Kevin. Okay, so now without any further ado, Mr. Kevin, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Nadia. So I'm just checking first. Can anybody hear me? Is my voice clear enough? Yes. Thank you, Miss Erica. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, I think to get us started. Oh yes. So some people are still answering the chat box. Thank you, Mr. Fabricio. I think that's the first one who actually wrote it down correctly with the right spelling. The word intelligence itself, I think it's quite difficult to spell probably. So there was like, yeah, a lot of typos there. Okay, that's fine. So yes, hello again, everyone. Good to see everyone here. I think most of you have known me, right? So I'll reintroduce myself a little bit. But for today, what I'm going to be talking about, as Miss Nadia has mentioned earlier, is about AI, right? About artificial intelligence. But since we are in education setting, so I will talk more about how we can use AI, what impact it might have in our um, teaching or even in overall learning experience. So that's why the title itself is AI powered classroom. So it will be very targeted towards specifically education. So you don't have to worry if, let's say, it gets too technical or if you don't know much about IT, things like that. I don't know much about IT, but at least I realized that I have to know about this as well because this is the thing that everybody has been talking about, right? And it has impacted a lot of industries, including education itself. So what we're talking about is how we can utilize artificial intelligence to your advantage. So just a little bit about myself. So yes, Miss Nadia has already introduced me. If you don't know me yet, my name is Kevin. You can call me Kevin or Mr. Kevin. It's up to you. I'm currently the Chief Product Officer at Atlaz. And I graduated from the University of Southern California with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. And my experiences so far, I have been the academic manager at English First. I've been teaching English since 2018, and I had been in charge of developing teachers and academic excellence. And I also have been teaching students from the age of 3 years old to adults. Okay, so this is my agenda for all of you today. So we'll be talking about the role of artificial intelligence in education, as I've mentioned. So in general, and second one, the possibilities in using artificial intelligence in your teaching. And third one, potential drawbacks and how to anticipate. Fourth one, further development of artificial intelligence. And the last one, as Ms. Nadia has mentioned, so it's actually not just one feature, but we have many features that are coming. But yes, so far we have one that has been launched, and we're so excited to show you what it is. And Ms. Nadia will give us a demonstration of how to use it really, really well. Okay, so to get us started, I would like you to share a little bit about your experience. So it seems like AI is not something that is completely new for you, right? So I want to know your experience in using AI or any sort of exposure you have with AI. So please answer these three questions. You can type them down in the chat box, or you can raise your hands and you can unmute yourself and we can listen to you. But I'll read the questions first. The first one, when was the first time you heard about artificial intelligence? So is it this year, last year, or 20 years ago? When was it? And then what do you know about artificial intelligence? Like what can you do with it? Or what is its function? Things like that. Third one, have you tried incorporating artificial intelligence in your teaching? Maybe so far, have you been using it for anything, lesson planning, whatever it is, or in class? And how have you been doing it? Okay, so I'll give us some time first so you can tap it down. And I will read your answers. So some mentioned, I guess, last year or so. Okay, so that's quite recent, right? So probably last year was about 2 months ago, right? So that was still quite recent. Okay, very nice. Not quite long. Okay, so quite recent as well, right? Maybe this year, last year. Mhm. And if you have answered number one, you feel free to answer number two or three, whichever one you want to answer. Last year for Miss Twee, yes, last year, I think. Last year. And what do you know maybe about artificial intelligence? Like, what is it? If somebody asks you like this, or let's say your students ask you in class, right? What is AI? I've heard it a lot. How would you explain that? What is AI? What is it? Artificial intelligence? From Mr. Rudy, like about last year. So I think most of you probably have heard it since last year. Okay, that's quite interesting. We'll see like when it actually started to come out. I think it was actually quite a while ago. Mhm. Yes, it saves lots of human tasks on specific work. It's very nice. I know from social media, I have tried it, but I haven't tried it in my teaching. Okay, it's very interesting. AI can help us to find something that we want to know so we can find the answer easily. Okay, so sort of like a more enhanced search engine, right? Similar to Google, but it's more comprehensive, probably. Yes, thank you for joining us, Mr. Cassiari from Mojokerto. Very, very nice. Welcome. Mhm. And maybe more teachers can answer. Number three, have you tried incorporating artificial intelligence in your teaching? Maybe if you have, how so? I use AI to get idea on how to create game. Yeah, that's a very good way to use AI. Very, very nice. 7 months ago from Mr. Masunatin, AI as a computer system has ability or intelligence as human's brain. Okay. Yes, I can ask anything to AI. Okay, sort of like another search engine or even assistant, right? 6 years ago, interaction between users and the program. I know it when I make my own teaching online media. Ooh, very, very nice. And yes, trying to generate lesson plans. Okay. Mhm. It will help us understand easier about any materials. No, I have never. That's why I want to know it's very clear. Okay, so hopefully I can give some guidance in terms of how we can use AI, but probably not too specific, but it might give you some ideas because it's very broad. So it depends on how you want to use it. Helps me create some tests. Very nice. Makes my job as a teacher easier. I've been using it to get reading text, but you need to fit it with precise prompts. Yeah, that's an amazing thing that can make us be more productive, I believe. Yes, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so keep writing your answers. I will read them later. So let me go to the next slide first. So this is quite wordy, right? But I want to just show you what it looks like. So I actually the first one I just use a regular search engine like Google, right? So I asked like, what is artificial intelligence? What does it mean? What is the definition? So basically, from Britannica, it said the ability of a digital computer or a computer control um, robot to perform tasks commonly associated with intelligent beings. So I think one of you got it correctly as well, right? When somebody mentioned about human brain. So of course, one of the intelligent beings is us, humans, ourselves. Then I asked AI actually. So the bottom part actually was generated by AI. So you can see the difference a little bit, right? It's very comprehensive with it's automatically summarized for you as well. So I asked like when it was founded. Basically, it told us the whole history of AI itself within one paragraph. And I think it's very, very convenient that I got the whole idea right away from it. So it said that the history of AI can be traced back to ancient times when philosophers and inventors explored the concept of creating artificial beings. So actually, the idea was a long time ago. It's not something that is new. However, the formalization of AI as a field of study and research began in the mid 20th century. Notable early contributors include Alan Turing, who proposed the Turing test in 1950, John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, and so on, organized the Dartmouth Conference in 1956. So I think that's when actually it's started to be developed and started to become more formal and be recognized as its own thing. So think of it that way, right? So we just recently figured out that, oh, AI is a thing since last year, but actually has been started since 1956. So that was over what, like 60, 70 years ago, right? So it's been a long time ago. It's quite actually very mind-blowing, in my opinion. Okay, so maybe just a little bit about the premise. Why should be using artificial intelligence? So I think it's very important to know when the concept first started to come out, right? People were so afraid that artificial intelligence would become a human threat. So maybe just to get us discuss a little bit here, why do you think it could become a human threat? Something that people were so afraid of in the past that artificial intelligence maybe could replace, or what would it do that it was very scary to a lot of people? What do you think? Okay, someone says, I have not used AI. Okay, that's no worries. So I know AI is an amazing application. Okay, good. So yeah, what do you think? Why were people so afraid of the concept of artificial intelligence in the past? Maybe right now, not so much, but maybe let's think 5 years back or 10 years back, or even 30 years ago when somebody mentioned about like, oh, let's try to create artificial intelligence. Why were people so afraid of it? Hmm. It will take over all the teachers' jobs. Yeah. Maybe the idea of AI taking over. Very nice, Mr. Sheriff. And it will take over human task and everything. Yeah, so seems like a lot of fear of our jobs being taken over by robots. I think that's the most common worry, right? Take over humans' job and replace our work, as they could explain the concept and questions specifically. Okay. Yeah, seems like that was like the biggest issue in the past. So then over time, the worry has disappeared, right? I mean, it hasn't really disappeared completely, but at least people start to realize that, oh, actually we can use AI to our advantage, not actually be afraid of it. So instead of being fearful of something we do not know yet, we should know its function and limitation. So then people started realizing like what are some of the things that AI can't do, so we can feel more secure about our jobs, about what our worry was, right? And third one, we need to have a mindset that this technology is going to make our life easier. So that's why we have accepted this, right? Because instead of seeing it as a threat, we see it as an assistant. We see it as a tool that can help us in the long run. And it's very common that groundbreaking inventions like AI in the past as well. Think of what was it like electricity, right? Um, Anything in the past that was so groundbreaking, it usually faced oppositions at first, but we need to be early adopters. So we will talk about the adopters, late adopters, laggards in just a little bit. But at least what it means for now is that this is what we're facing, right? So the groundbreaking invention is the AI itself at the moment, and there has been opposition here and there, even back then from school, right? So even before thinking about how it can help teachers, the first worry for school was how the students were going to use it to cheat the system, right? Or to cheat in class and exams, how they were not going to perform as well as students because they're relying so much on AI, things like that, right? So that's the first. Okay, and the last one, why we should use artificial intelligence, because we want to achieve a better country, right? We have to become the 2045 golden vision that was envisioned um, for our country. And in order to do that, we need to aim for the future and stop thinking about just now. Because when we talk about AI, yes, it's still very brand new, right? And there are not a lot of researches about it yet. So it's still ongoing. So the impact is not something that we can see at the moment, but we need to project into the future to see what potentials it might have. And us as teachers, as educators, what we can do to prepare our students for it. Okay, so this is something that I learned when I was in business school. So it's very technical. It's usually used for marketing purposes, but I think it will be very useful for all of us to understand basically this something called diffusion of innovation. So basically, if there's any new invention that is happening in the world, this is usually what it takes. So we don't have to even talk about AI. We can talk about phones, for example, when Apple launches a new iPhone or when Samsung is coming up with a flip phone, things like that, right? So when we're talking about that, we need to know that there are different people and we need to know where we are. So on the left side here, we have the number of users. So basically the curve, the Y curve, right? The vertical curve is the number of users. And the X curve or the horizontal curve, the line, that is the time of adoption of the innovation. So we can see that it starts from something called innovators on the left side, the blue one, and then early adopters, early majority, and late majority, and laggards. So basically, if we want to understand about each of this personality of the stage, we can take a look here. For example, for innovators, those that stand in line for a new product, spread positive word of mouth. So even when a product is not out yet, but people are already talking about it. So these are the people that are called the innovators. So they are already talking about it. Then the early adopters usually wait for a review. So they are a little bit less riskier than innovators because they want to know a little bit when the products come out, right? Spread the positive word of mouth still. And then the early majority, vital for profits, avoid risk by waiting. And then we go to the late majority and the laggards. So even if this is a concept for business setting, for marketing, I think we can use it to ourselves as well as educators. So we need to understand, for example, if we want to achieve Indonesia 2045 golden vision, right? Is it better for us to be in the late majority and the laggards at the very end, or should we be in early majority, early adopters, or even innovators? So there's no right or wrong answer, but I think what's really important is that we know what consequences each of this stage has. So for example, people might think like, oh, that means it's always better to be the innovator, right? That means like we'll be ways ahead of everybody else in the world, even not in just in our country. But there's also a consequence to it because let's say the products haven't come out yet, we don't know what it actually can do, and when it actually come out, maybe it's not as expected. So there's always that risk. So yes, it is high return, but also high risk. So then my suggestion is that we should be either in the early adopters or early majority. Why? Because if we're too early, then we don't know what it is. But if we're too late, then it'll be hard for us to adapt because that means we have to adjust to the majority of the world that has already decided what it should be like, right? So let's say talking about AI right now. So maybe we're still currently in the early adopter stage. So if we are part of it, then we're part of the development people in the world that will determine how it's going to be used in the whole world. But if let's say we're in the late majority or even in the laggards, that means we just have to follow what was already being thought for. And usually when it happens, then we can't really take much of it, or maybe there might be newer inventions coming out later on and we'll be way behind. So that's why I want to bring this concept to us as educators so that we can understand that, oh, it's better to be early than late, but also not too early. So we just have to be reasonable. And at the moment, it's really hard to tell like where we are right now. But in my opinion, I think we're still in the early adopter stage. So I think it's pretty safe for us to say like, okay, I want to start using AI right now. So it's not too early, it's not too late. I think it's the perfect time for you to start learning about AI, how you can utilize it as well. Okay, so that's enough of the business talk. Let's move back to education, right? So after knowing about all of that, so I took this data from UNESCO. So according to UNESCO's data in 2023, only 7 countries, so China, Finland, Georgia, Qatar, Spain, Thailand, and Turkey, reported they have been developing frameworks or training programs on AI for teachers. So meaning that AI has become part of their curriculum at school. So this is, imagine, let's say when we're learning about English, science, math, things like that, but they're adding one more, which is AI. So this is very similar to how it was for coding as well, right? Back then, like coding wasn't a part of curriculum, but now it's very common. So now AI has become part of the curriculum itself, but only in 7 countries in the world. So that's why my question is, are we going to do it or not, right? So that's why I put the flag right there. where are we? Where's Indonesia? Are we going to start implementing it or not? Or do we think it's important or not? So in my opinion, I think it's very important, but I want to know what you think as well, teachers out there, right? What do you think? Is it important for us to incorporate AI into our learning? Or maybe we need to think as well how early or how soon we should be teaching this to the students, maybe to even what is it called, elementary teachers, students, or maybe secondary students. What do you think, right? So you can also type in the chat box. But this is just to get us thinking, right? That's why I can tell that we are still in the early adopters stage because there's only 7 countries in the whole world that have implemented this in the curriculum. So if we have realized that this is an opportunity for us, then I think it will be very beneficial for us as a whole country as well. Okay. And understanding that, so you can still type in the chat box what you think, right? Is it important right now? Or maybe you don't think it is, but we're ready for it. Just type it in the chat box. So the next step that I want to talk about is something that is very, very much important as well when we're talking about AI. So yes, we understand that not all places are equipped with all access to advanced technology. Maybe not all schools have access to computers. Maybe not all schools have access to internet. Maybe if you go to, like Miss Nadia went to Garut about like 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, right? And maybe it was still very rural. The area is still very not city-like. So it's very hard to get access to information even. So does that supposed to limit us from having to teach AI maybe to the students there, or what should we do, right? So I think it's better for us that we know that it is important that we teach AI in school, that we create a culture of sharing so we can improve the well-being of our nation. So what that means is even if we don't have the advanced technology where we live, or maybe where we know somebody else lives, but it doesn't stop us from being able to share, like what I'm doing with you right now, right? What I know, I share with you. The next thing you know, you can share with the other people you know. And the more people know about it, the more we can become AI literate. And that is very important as well, because let's say maybe in the future, digitalization in Indonesia is very common. Maybe all schools have computers, things like that. But what if, let's say, the students are not ready, or what if the teachers are not ready, right? So we have all the equipments, we have the materials, but we don't know how to use them well. At the end of the day, it will become less efficient. So instead of doing it that way, we should reverse it. We should prepare ourselves first. We should prepare the teachers. That's, I think, the most important part. Then we prepare the students. So I don't think it becomes a limitation if we talk about like, but the schools, they don't even have computers. How should we teach them about this? Well, knowledge is knowledge, right? There shouldn't be any limit to knowledge. So we can do that through sharing. We can do that through giving them books, or even just giving them presentation like this, letting them know that there is something called AI and that we can use this. Because think about it that this way. Let's say maybe 50 years from now, all machines are operated by AI, things like that, right? And we have children who become older. So we have younger generations who are more active than us, and they can't really compete with international competitors just because they don't know much about AI, for example. So similarly, I think we should be preparing our students so in the future they can become ready and they can compete. So not just even nationally or locally, but internationally as well, because I think that's where our world is heading. So we should prepare our students as well. So after understanding about the why and maybe how we should be thinking future oriented, right? We need to know about how we can use AI. So this is the question that a lot of the teachers have been asking. So I haven't used AI before. How can I use it, right? So basically for AI, there's a lot of different variations. There's AI that we very commonly use, like ChatGPT, right? It's very, very uh, easy to use. It's just text-based. You type in some prompts, they give us some feedback. But there's also the AI for generating videos, generating pictures, generating audio. So it depends what we want to talk about. But yes, the most important part when we're talking about AI, we need to be able to give the right prompts. So that's why there's something called the prompt engineering. And this is something that is very crucial if you want to start using AI. So number one, use simple, clear, and straightforward language that can be easily understood, avoiding complex or ambiguous wording. So this is why we need to know how to write prompt correctly. Because if we don't use it correctly, then the feedback that we're getting is not going to be suitable, and maybe we need to change the prompt again. It won't be as efficient. So if we're going to use, let's say, English, that means we have to use very basic English, simple English that is very instructional and very easy to understand. So for the AI itself, it becomes easier for them to process things. Number two, include examples to illustrate the desired response or format of generated completions. So this is if I'm using AI, let's say, to grade any student's answers, then I have to give something called the model answer first, how I want the answer to be. So let's say if I want to grade my student's essay, then I give the prompt to the AI, then I will give the model answer. This is how it should be like. Then at the end of the day, compare it, right? And they will give us the grades based on the comparison between what I have been giving as a model answer. And that is very important because if you don't give that model answer, then the AI won't be able to base it off anything that you want them to grade it on. It will give just what they know, and that might not be what you want to get out of that grading. Then the third one, include context, which is crucial for generating relevant and meaningful completions. So because if, as I've mentioned, AI is very broad, it's very general, and we can use it for a lot of things, for biology, for even chemistry, formula, mathematics, right? So if you want it to be very specific for English, for example, if you're English teachers, then make it very specific, right? So for my English class, I want to grade blah, 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 blah. So make it very specific in terms of the context. Then next one, refine and iterate as necessary, experimenting with different variations because you will understand that certain prompts might work better than the others. Maybe this is more consistent if you do it this way. And the last one, be ethical, avoiding prompts that may generate inappropriate, bias, or harmful content. Obviously, because this is, again, this is a tool, right? It's not a living being. Anything that we feed to it will come back to us in the future. So if we feed it something bad, then that might be something that we reap in the future. So that's not what we want. So we want to give them good model answers. We want to give them good instructions. So at the end of the day, when we are asking them to do something for us, then it becomes very useful. So same thing, as I have seen, some of you have answered in the chat box, right? So you've been using it to create lesson plans or to create exams, questions for a quiz, things like that. Make sure you get the model answers and give them very simple instructional prompts. Okay, so I talk a little bit, right, about like the benefits of using AI and how to use it just a little bit. So later I will show it to you in more concrete detail in terms of how Atlas is already incorporating all of these into our learning system. But I want to know first, before we move on to more important things to discuss about. After knowing the benefits, so we know about like how it can be useful for us, how we can utilize it, right? What do you think could be the potential drawbacks of using AI in your opinion? So this can be something that you already have experienced, maybe you have tried it, or something that you think potentially might happen in the near future, or even in the long run. So what do you think could be the potential drawbacks? In the meantime, I'm gonna read the chat box. Mhm. ChatGPT students could ask AI to write answers or essays for them, but we teachers can always tell. That's right. Yes. So you will see later as well when there is like AI generated response, sometimes it can be detected, right? So that's why there's also another AI to counter it to see if students have been using AI or not, because teachers, we want to know if they have been actually producing the sentences themselves, or maybe they have asked AI to do it. What is AI? I've joined to understand a bit. Okay, so Mr. Abdul, AI stands for artificial intelligence. You can rewind the recording later on our YouTube because we will post it there. But yes, just a little bit about it. Artificial intelligence. Mr. Hari said drawbacks, over reliance, and misinformation. That's right. Mhm. What else? What else could be the drawbacks or maybe negative impacts on people's lives or students' lives or teachers' life even? What do you think could be potential drawbacks? Yeah, I think some people are still typing it down. I will read it as we go on, but I'm going to go to the next slide because I think I have only a few minutes left. Okay, so these are some potential drawbacks that I think have been happening so far. So we're not talking about the long run, but just right now, what is happening if people rely so much on using AI, right? The first one is the lack of understanding of the real world. So something we must understand about AI is based on data. So basically, it cannot give you any new information from the world. So if people don't feed the data into the AI, it won't be able to generate any new outcomes. So meaning the real world could be lacking from using AI alone. So yes, maybe if you're facing some students who think like, Miss, I could just learn from AI, right? I don't have to go to school. I think AI can help me. AI can teach me. But this is something that you can prove to them, right? So that lack of understanding of the real world, something that can only be exposed to or be taught to by you facing the real world, that can never be replaced by AI because that's not something that AI can generate. And the second one, produce inaccurate or unreliable outputs. So maybe it's like Mr. Harry said, right? So misinformation, because again, it derives so much information from the internet, from what is being fed. How do we know of its accuracy? Even when we're using it for searching for something very trivial, something very simple, it can give you false information, right? Maybe I can ask like, what is Miss Nadia's age? For example, it can give me some potential answers, but maybe none of them is correct because they have never derived information previously, for example. As simple as that. So that's why it's not something that we can 100% rely on if we just treat it like what is called a database. So it cannot be 100% accurate, and it will never be because it's just the amount of information in the world that it derives from. It will be too much to actually derive one specific truth from it. So that's why the truth cannot be gained directly from just using AI alone. And third one, not informed by observations of the real world or other key aspects of the scientific method, nor is it aligned with human or social values. So this is very important when we're talking about education, right? When we're talking about education, becoming teachers. So AI will never become teachers, right? AI can be helping you to teach. AI can be helping the students to mentor them, to be the tutors, but it is different than becoming a teacher. Why? Because it's not aligned with human or social values. And that's exactly what we're teaching students in class or in school or in any setting, right? We're not just teaching the knowledge, but we're teaching also like their personality, characteristics, moral values, human values, social values. All of these will never be able to be replaced by AI. Um, so that's something I think that we should feel more comfort in because as teachers, maybe sometimes we're afraid, what should be our jobs then? Like, what if AI can do anything? What do I do? Right? So you don't have to be worried about that because there are still some limitations that we as teachers still need to fill in. And this is where we can step in, right? So to bring in the more human values or social values when we're teaching. So meaning, let's say when we were overwhelmed so much maybe with having to be the know-it-all person in a class, when the students ask you some questions and you feel like, I don't know that yet, but let me get back to you. So maybe AI can help you with that, right? But if it comes to, let's say, talking about human values, moral, you don't even have to ask AI because that means the students will have to rely on you to give the right answers, right? And you can teach them. And the last one, unforeseen legal regulations or consequences. This is something that has been talked about, I think, a lot in America and also in China, according to the article from UNESCO. So you need to think about, let's say, when AI has produced anything that is related to rights. So when, let's say, text, articles, or audio, video, any sort of creative rights, who do the rights belong to, right? Because maybe they derive information from the different sources on the internet, but does that, let's say, specific production, the produce itself, does that belong to those people of the information that they got from, or does it belong to the person who actually gave the prompt, right? Or does it belong to the AI itself? So that is something that is very still very debated at the moment. I believe, let's say in America, maybe at the moment, they think that nobody should have the rights to AI produced contents at all. I think that's the current state. But if we're talking about, let's say, different countries like, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in China, um, or Germany, Africa, but they have to disclose the information where the AI got the information from when they are deriving that information. So let's say we're asking like ChatGPT, like what I did earlier, right? So give me the history of AI. So they give me the information, right? Blah, 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 blah. But they need to be able to prove that they got that information from certain sources. So the sources have to be reported to the government so that can be held accountable. So that is the proof that it comes from reliable sources, for example, and it can also be argued in the future. So it depends, and each country is doing it different right now. So at the moment, I think that is very debatable and it's very heated still, but we won't know until the legal procedures are actually in action. But at least that is one of the drawbacks right now because we don't know what will happen in the long run, right? Okay, so that's about the drawbacks at the moment. So in the long run, so when we're talking about in the long run, some potential drawbacks. The first one is, so as we talk about today, maybe not all places have access to internet, to computers. So it can create some sort of inequities to those who have limited access to technology. So that is some of the I would say the biggest concerns for UNESCO is that how it can impact our society in the future when we have, let's say, a place where everybody knows everything so much about AI already, but we have some places who don't know about it at all, right? So it can create some disparities between the two different places. And how are we going to respond to that? How are we going to um, maybe even subsidized for that as well. So that's something that the government, the whole country will have to think about as well, because that might impact the economy as well. Second one, lack of human connection. So I think this is something that we have started realizing as well. I think I've been talking to some teachers as well. Even in the past, one of my teachers that I work with, she told me that she got into this debate with one of her students who I think was trying to prove her wrong by using AI. So they discussed and they debated about a grammar function, for example. Miss, according to this, my answer was not wrong. See, the AI told us about this. But then, according to the teacher, she mentioned that, yes, I mean, grammatically speaking, that is correct. But in terms of, let's say, how you would use it on a day-to-day basis, that's not how you say it in English, right? But then the student still didn't accept that as an answer because the student believed more in AI more than the teacher. See, things like that might happen or are bound to happen. So we as teachers have to anticipate. So when that happens to us, what can we do? How do we respond to it? So I think the biggest suggestion that I could give is just for us to take things more, um, yeah, more cool. So don't get emotional about it or don't try to fight AI back. Just you need to prove with even more data. I think that's how you can um, win any arguments with our future generation because they will be relying so much on data, right? AI is based on data. So if you want to prove them wrong, you have to prove them with even more proofs, more evidence. Because if you just say, well, because that's wrong, that's because that's how I knew it before. They're not going to believe you, right? Because they will become more relying on all these different resources that they are exposed to. Then the third one, human dependency on the system, hence more limited development on their intelligence. So if let's say in the future AI is controlling everything, then maybe what will happen to the human intelligence overall? So we're not just talking about one person, but as the whole world, right? As our society. So we're talking about the whole intelligence of humanity itself. So we're talking about way in the future. Because as we know, our body also evolves, right? Human bodies are evolve. Any living being's bodies evolve over time, and it depends on what is being exposed to us. If let's say we don't have to think as much, we don't have to think as hard as before, then maybe the function of our brain has will become more reduced. And biologically speaking, if there are any biology teachers here, I think you will understand what I'm saying. Maybe let's say in the future, human brains might become smaller, right? Or it can even create more diseases, or we don't live as long, whatever that is, that can become a problem as well. So that's something that we need to anticipate for as well, because it might happen in the future. And the last one, psychological impact. So we don't have any data on this yet, but according to UNESCO as well, they believe that this might create some impact because, yeah, first of all, let's say if there's any changes in our brain, right? Maybe it can even impact our hormones, and also with having lack of human connection with one another, how that's going to impact us socializing with other people. All of that can impact our mental state as well. So in the future, that might be one of the potential drawbacks as well. Okay, so let me check the chat box a little bit. So, mhm, mhm. Yeah, of course. So I'll answer more questions later. I think once you see the examples, I think it will make more sense. Okay, so I just want to read this to you. So the use of AI technologies in education should enhance human capacities for sustainable development and effective human-machine collaboration in life, learning, and work. It also calls for further actions to ensure equitable access to AI to support marginalized people and address inequalities while promoting linguistic and cultural diversities. So this is according to Beijing Consensus on Artificial Intelligence. So at least as we know how AI is going to help our life, how it makes our life easier, what it's saying is basically we shouldn't forget how we should use it to make our society more equal, because at the end of the day, that is one of the most important things, right? So instead of us just thinking about how we can benefit ourselves, how can it benefit maybe our whole nation as a whole? And I think that's something that we can follow as well. So I know Indonesia hasn't really started much on AI, but Beijing has started, America has started as well. I think that's something that we can learn from. So what we can do to prepare, the first one, what is suggested as well, formulate or adjust guidance based on local tests. So if you're going to use it to, let's say, generate questions for your exams, things like that, make sure that you give them enough model answers. And in model answers could come from local tests, right? So let's say previous past papers, you can use it to feed. So the more feed that you give, the more accurate it can produce the questions for you. So that's what you can do if you want to use it in that sense. And the second one, protect the rights of teachers and researchers and the value of their practices. So understand your role as teachers. So maybe researchers, if there are any researchers here, but at least for teachers, understand your role. As we talked about today, you're not just teaching knowledge, but also moral and human values as well. So understand how you can deliver that in your class too. Third one, define the value orientation, knowledge, and skills teachers need in order to understand. Review the competencies needed by teachers to understand and use AI for teaching, learning, and for their professional development. So we're not just talking about using AI to teach, but also for you to keep developing yourself. So maybe if you reflect on your own, what skills you need to improve on, what you need to learn more, you can use AI to help you with that, right? And maybe it's more efficient than ever. Maybe some information that you had to get from that was really difficult in the past has become easier for you because of the invention of AI. So use it to your advantage in that way as well. And the last one, develop students' characters and higher order thinking skills. So that means this is related to curriculum Merdeka as well, right? Because we need to boost students of their higher order thinking skills. That means we can let AI do the lower order thinking skills. So something like memorizing, or what is it? Something that's very common in history, knowing the year. Let's say, what year did it happen, right? So things like that that are not as crucial as it should be for students. We can let AI handle that. So, okay. And some potential uses for you, other uses beside, like we're talking about lesson plan and things like that. It can also potentially in the future become curriculum or course co-designer. So this we will talk about as well with our later features, how we can help you to build your own curriculum if needed. And second one, as a chatbot, as a teaching assistant. So let's say you need to have access to information right away, then the AI can be your assistant. Third one, coach for foundational skills, including listening, pronouncing, writing a mother tongue or foreign language, numeracy, art, and coding. Drilling and practicing are still needed, but can be upgraded with AI to foster self-paced learning. So we understand that as teachers, when we are, let's say we're teaching English, right? It doesn't take only us teaching the students once and students will be able to do it right away. But we need to drill, especially with grammar, for example. And when it comes to drilling, then that's what a lot of students nowadays, they like to use some applications, right, to practice their pronunciation or maybe to practice their grammar, because that is more efficient for them because they can be at their own self pace instead of, let's say, us giving them, okay, you have to be doing it exactly the same as your friends in class. Because even if you are teaching 35 different students in class, they might all be at different pace, right? And it doesn't mean that one of them is going to be more successful than the others, right? So they are just going to have different pace. So that's why when it comes to drilling or practicing, we can use AI for it. So you can focus more on the other skills and support learners with special needs. So let's say like real-time subtitles. Even right now, I think if you're watching from YouTube, there's also like automatic caption, right? The subtitle right there, that's also generated by AI as well. So believe it or not, right? And that's going to be very helpful for people with special needs. So let's say if they can hear, or even for audio purposes, let's say after it's being generated from this text, then it can generate audio for people who maybe cannot see, right? So that's also potential use. And last one, helping teachers with grading productive skills. So something that we will show as well. So how, let's say, are you going to grade writing and also speaking, right? That back then it was very difficult and maybe everything has to be done manually. But now with the invention of AI itself, everything can be done for you. And all you need to do is just check it and see if you prove it or not, right? Instead of you having to grade everything from scratch. And we need to be able to know how to do this, obviously. So we will take a look how we can use it. So Miss Nadia will show it to you how Atlas is doing all this later, but I'll give you a little bit of a glimpse of all the new features that we have. So the first one that is already being done for is called the AI-based writing evaluator. So I have a video, I will show it to you right after this. And then the second one, we have the AI personalized comments generator. You can see on the left side there. So that will, it's still being developed, but it will be ready very, very soon. And before the next academic year, which is this year, it will be ready as well. And also AI generated personalized lesson plans. And the last one, we also have the AI assistant. So all of that will be included into Atlas features. We will have all these features in Atlas if you're using Atlas. Okay, so I want to share a video with all of you, but let me just make sure I'm also sharing the audio. So I need to press share, lens sharing option. Share computer sound. Okay, so I'm gonna play this a little bit and I will explain this newest feature that we have. Okay, so I'm gonna play it. You can all hear it. Still loading. Already did. So that was just a little bit of a glimpse. So we'll see it in detail really soon because Ms. Nadia is going to give us a demo how it works. But just to give you some information, the writing evaluator, basically it's like an essay evaluator. So when you're using it, the students will just have to type in their answers and then the AI will automatically grade it for you. Then at the end of the day, you can see how the AI is doing that, and it will give you 4 different categories how it's being graded from. So based on their competencies, and then the lexical, and also grammar and punctuation. And they will give you some scores from 1 to 4. So there's the writing rubric that we have already fed into our AI generator, and then it will give the students comment as well. Let's say, oh, the students did really well in terms of their competency, but not really so much in the lexical. They need to improve their grammar and their pronunciation. And there were some few words that I think they got it wrong, things like that, right? So that's how it works. And it will give the scores that are automatically updated into the grade book. But you don't have to worry because at the end of the day, the grade book is also adjustable to your need. If let's say you think, yes, I agree with the AI, or sometimes I don't agree with the AI with the way it grades, because as we have talked about today, AI also has some limitations, right? So at the end of the day, you have the call. So basically the teachers have the full control of how you can control the AI and also the grades for your own students. So that's the first feature. And next feature that is coming as well. This is called the students comments generator. So this is upcoming. So basically, I think at the end of the semester, right, or at the end of the academic year, all teachers are very busy with having to fill in their report card, right? So this is basically to help you with that, because what the AI does, the AI will analyze all the scores and all the mistakes that the students have made when they are using our system. So let's say we have 6 units in our books, right? And maybe you want to generate the comments from all the 6 units. What the AI will do, the AI will analyze from unit 1, unit 2, 3, 4, 5, and unit 6, and they will take a look. Okay, so it seems like the students have improved in the sense, but they need to revisit unit 2 because unit 2 is talking about past tense, but the students are still making some mistakes with some past tense words, so they need to revisit that. But they have improved so much on their writing, for example, so you need to congratulate them on their writing. So that will be automatically generated for you, and you can have that included in a grade book as well. So it's very convenient. So if you have, let's say, 100 students that you need to grade for or to give comments for, AI will do this all for you, and it can save you some time. And the goal is, when you're using it this way, is that you can focus more on your lesson quality, right? Instead of having to fulfill your administrative duties. So that is the main goal. And next one, we have the Zalta assistant. Basically, this is the AI assistant that will accompany both you, the teachers, and also the students whenever you're using Atlas. So when you have any questions, you don't have to worry about having to go to a different AI platform. You just type in there, right? It's almost like your personalized search engine, and it will give you some tailored feedback that are related to Atlas as well. So for example, let's say you want to take a look in here, the difference between past tense and present perfect. How can you tell the difference? What are we using it for? And it will generate the answer for you, right? Blah, 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 blah. And you can ask, let's say, does Atlas have a book that is talking about that, right? Maybe it will help me to understand it more. And the AI will tell you, oh, it's in this book. You can take a look in this unit, this page, and so on. So it will give you some very personalized information. Then the last one, but not least, we have the AI lesson plan generator, because we understand that different teachers have different needs. So some of you might be teaching maybe 30 minutes in a day for English, maybe 40 minutes, maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, maybe even every day, maybe 5 days in a week, right? So then you want to customize your lesson plan. Let's say, because Atlas has already given you the lesson plan whenever you're using any of our books, then you want to customize it to your needs. Let's say you want to change from 40 minutes to just 35. All you need to do is just type in the chat box there, and the AI will generate it for you. And you can download it, and you can print it out and use it right away. So basically, again, to make your life easier. Okay, so I think because we're sort of running out of time, so I want to give it to Miss Nadia. So just some key takeaways from me. So utilize AI instead of being led by it, and start early. So be the early adopters. Encourage your students to do the same, and see how you can use it. There will be more variations of AI coming up, whether it be for making videos, audio, etc. And don't be overwhelmed. Focus on what works for you, because if you try to understand everything that AI does, I think, yeah, that will blow your mind. Don't worry about the drawbacks, because people will always seek for solutions to make the system better. That's how it has always been with technology anyway. So you don't need to worry about that. Think of computer viruses. Viruses still exist right now, but antiviruses still work more and more. So, and we need to keep being updated with it. So same thing, right? So whenever there's any drawback, we need to know what the solution. There's another drawback, then another solution, and so on. And it just keeps going. And the last one, the system will always keep improving. And the more you take part in it, the more it will turn into something that works out for you. Okay, so I think that is pretty much it from me. So I will give it back to Miss Nadia, and maybe we can have a little bit of question and answer, or we can wait until the end for the question and answer. That's also fine. But I'll give it back to Miss Nadia first. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin. So, Bapak Ibu, that's a really great presentation. I want you to give a virtual applause for Mr. Kevin. Yeah, just give me some emoji. Yeah, the claps emoji. Okay, thank you. So, yes, the things that the thing that I really, yeah, that I really like from what Mr. Kevin stated is that there must be drawbacks, but do not worry, right? Because yes, we can actually try to be a first user, right? Try to be expose ourselves to AI from now on. Yeah, so do not worry, Bapak Ibu. After this, I will give you some demonstration. But now, I guess we are going to have a question and answer session. But Mr. Kevin, here there's one question of already from Miss Novelia. Hello, Miss. Okay. So Miss Novelia tell us about what kind of AI that we can use to help in the school besides ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think that's very related to what we're about to show you, right? So how Atlas is going to help you, because as we have mentioned, all these new features, you can try it out yourself and see how it can benefit you. So, and there are a lot more that we haven't explored yet, but we for sure will keep researching as well, because as a company, that's one of our goals, right? And we need to be upfront. We can't just be waiting for other people to do it first. And this is why we are so proud with our new features, because we have also researched with other publishers out there, even international publishers. None of them have actually put AI in their own ecosystem, but we have already put it there. So if you're using Atlas, everything is in Atlas already, including the AI itself. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, should I use ChatGPT? Should I use this? Should I use that? Right. So all these different AI systems will already be curated, and all the ones that you need to use for your teaching will already be there in the platform. So I think that's how can I answer it for now. But if you're talking about other features, even more, let's say talking about like video generators, picture generators, I think that's still coming, because it's still being developed at the moment. But at the moment, I think that is what can be very relevant to teach in class.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kevin. So that's a question from Miss Novelia. Anyway, your name, Miss Novelia, your name is familiar, and I've just realized that you're from SMA Saint John Bungur, right? So yeah, Miss Novelia has already experienced Atlas, but do not worry, Miss. Okay, for this next semester, yeah, we are ready to yes, to show. And also, I believe that you are going to use this one. Okay. All right. Yes. Now, there's also a question from Miss or Mr. Ades from Jakarta. Will the book or AI be ready to be implemented for the next academic year for year 6 to 9? Okay, I guess I already answered that one. Okay. Okay. Yes, Bapak or Ibu. Yeah. So the book is ready now actually, but then the AI is ready. Oh yeah, it is already ready right now. Okay, but it will be ready for you to be implemented in your classroom next academic year. So do not worry. Okay. Yes, thank you, Mr. Ades from Jakarta. Okay, so now Bapak Ibu, if you have any questions, okay, related to the implementation of AI in our classroom, please you can write down on our chat box. But I believe the question will be more if I already demonstrated the things that I have talked about, right? Okay. Oh, okay. So this is question from Ibu Din. Yeah. In related to AI from Atlas, do we have to register annually or just once? Okay. So how is it? Okay.
So I
Yes.
think we're getting very technical here. So yeah, I think like how I can answer it for now. So basically, if you purchase like any of the Atlas products, you will get number one the book, and also the second one is the online learning, which includes all the features that you just saw right now, right? But that is basically good for annually, so it's for 1 year. So if you want to use it again in the next following year, then you can either purchase another book or you can purchase the online learning. We suggest you to contact the distributors that invited you to come here because they will have more explanation when it's related to the cost, the pricing, and how to pay for it. Yeah, I think contact the distributors for that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kevin. I guess I will directly go to our next session about the demonstration. So, Bapak Ibu, if you have any question while I am demonstrating it to you, please you can type it on our chat box, right? Okay, so the things that I'm going to give you and present to you today, I would like to give you to show you from the very beginning, so you can click our new website. So that's academy.hyatlas.com. So academy.hyatlas.com, and here, okay, you need to sign up. All right, so you need to sign up here, and yeah, it is like when you are registering to a new social media, you have to you have to sign up. All right, and then here I would like to give my an active email. So nadia.hayatlas@gmail. Okay, so and I will give my full name and also my phone number. Wow. Okay, and I will give my password. I will pause it for a moment. Okay, so and then I will click get started. So Bapak Ibu, if you also want to yes, try, please you can also try with me. Okay, so information email for you. Okay, it will be there. Okay, I will check my email for a moment, a second. Okay, there you go. Uh, so this is the email that you are going to get, and then I will confirm the email. And then, yes, it will be directly, yeah, uh, yeah, redirected here, right? And then I will sign in. There you go. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, this is our new look of our online learning, the new look of our online learning. And here on the dashboard, we can find out this one, Rhythm Book, Atlas Teach, English Test, and also Atlas Game. And we also have this one, the account, the profile menu. there is my account and also manage password and redeem book and also log out. And here, when I scroll down, okay, there is also some previews of the book. And here we also have this one, two different series of our books, play series and also escalate series. So we also have this, the different books with different level. You can check also when I click this one, for example, yeah, you can have the free version for about 1 unit, right? For 1 unit, not about, for 1 unit. So when I click start learning, and when you click start learning, you can take a look at the full version of our, yeah, of the book, okay, for 1 unit only. So when I click it, there you go. Yeah, so the activities will be more interactive, right? And there are some features that you can use also. You can use the notes, right? And also you can preview the page like this. Yeah, because as a teacher, sometimes we want our students to see the full that is already here, okay? And you can click it, click the video while you are seeing the page that is related to the videos. Okay, so it's easier for you to manage. Okay, so here, since you haven't got any books, so you can only have it for yeah, 1 unit free for you. Okay, and then we also have this one, the Escalate series. All right. So how can we get the full version, right? So how can we get the full version? You can actually click this one, request trial code, right here. So unlock the full access of Atlas Online Learning. Click the button. So I click request, and it will direct you to the form. Okay, do not worry. So after you fill in the form, we will give you the code, right? So here, if you have got the code, then what is that? Yeah, if you have got the code, then you can click here, read a new book. Okay. So since I have got the code, Bapak Ibu, I will directly yes, click it. Yes. So for example, I would like to have what is that? A book for elementary students, right? So, okay. Where- Okay, so when you want, wait a second, I will write down and read them the book here. Okay, good. There you go. Mhm. Okay, there you go. So when I have redeemed the book, and here on my dashboard, we can directly see that, right? So it is English Play Builder. That's for, yeah, usually for first grade students. Okay, then, yes, here, Bapak Ibu, you can only get access for the students. All right, so we still cannot have the features such as the lesson plan and also the assessment, because if we redeem the book, then we are, if we redeem the book only, then we are the student. Okay, but we haven't got the access as a teacher. So how can we have the access for the teachers? That's why Bapak Ibu, you need to, yes, request the title code, and the things that you will get is the rhythm book code and also the school code. Okay, so how can you get, yes, if you have got your school code, Bapak Ibu, you can go to this one, the profile, and then click my account. Go here, and there you go. You can request the, you can fill in the school code here. Okay. So here I will redeem the code. Okay, what school? Okay, this one. Okay, here I'm using this one, right? For example, the school code. And yes, when I back to the dashboard, yes, we have got the worksheet, the teacher training feature. So those two features are only for the teachers. Okay. So next, when you are a teacher, then you can directly go to class, and then you can create class here. So for example, since the book is for first grade, then I will say, first grade B. And this is for this class. And I will choose the cover image, try like yellow, so I save it. Okay, then Mr. Kevin, I think I need your help, Mr. Kevin. Can you please help me to join my class? So, Bapak Ibu, if you later want to ask your student to join your class, you can directly give this code. Yes. First grade, okay. 1 ST, grade B. Okay. So, all right. So, Mr. Kevin, do not forget to read them the book, I guess, right? Yes. Okay. So here, Bapak Ibu, when Mr. Kevin has joined the class later, we can go to assessment and we can set schedule. Yeah. Okay, good. Let me check it. I will back to the bus dashboard and I will check my class. Okay, and I will check the member list. All right, there you go. Liva Atlas already, yeah, it's already there. Yeah, so you as a teacher, Bapak Ibu, you can you can approve and reject the members of your class. All right. So for example here, oh yeah, Levi is my student, so I will click. Okay, there you go. All right, so we can see directly here the grade book of Liva. Since Liva hasn't started any test yet, there are no scores, for quiz, and also no scores for assessments. Okay, good. So here I will go back to my class because I'm going to have to set schedule for assessment for Liva. Okay, so I will go to assessment and set schedule. So I will choose the first unit and I will have it right now. So, okay. And then it will be last for 1 hour. So I will give it like this. right? Okay, so here, teachers, you also can have your printed assessment here anyway. Okay, and here, if I have more than one member, yeah, more than one members, I will, yeah, it is possible for me to, yeah, check on and uncheck the students that will get this assessment. Okay, so for example, you just want to have like 10 students because they were not present on your last classes. Okay, so yeah, you can have it. So I will save it. And later, okay, Mr. Kevin, can you help me to share screen and also to check, okay, whether you have got your assessment or not,
Yeah, let
please.
me try right now. Just a second. Let me share my screen. Okay. So it looks like this, right? So let me crunch my screen. So I'm coming in as a student. So this is what it looks like if you were a student. So first grade. Oh, okay. So I'm already in this class. Let me go back to my homepage, see if it's there. Is this English Play Builder? Ooh, okay. So I have a bell button because it seems like I have an assessment to do. So should I do it right now, Miss Nadia?
Please.
Okay,
Okay.
so let me try to click it. Okay, so should start at 4:28 and at 5:28. So I just press this and click start. Okay, so this is for grade 1 students, right? So relatively easy, but just imagine that we were grade 1 students who didn't really know how to read really well. So maybe this is the right way to spell tiger, giraffe.
Okay.
Okay, we're just gonna get like through really quickly. Okay, how old are you? My old is 6. So answering all the wrong answers. And ready, it's a horse, it's a bear.
Okay, while you are doing this one, Mr. Kevin, perhaps I will share screen as well, right?
Sure.
And you can share the screen again when you come to the writing assessment.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, here I also would like to show you another features that we can have as a teacher. So anytime we go to the book, okay, like this one, we can directly have the lesson plan right on the right of your yes screen. So you can have the lesson plan in Indonesia or in English. This. All right. So it will make you easier to to adjust your activities on the books and yes, the activities that we have prepared on our lesson plan. Okay. So, for example, here, yes, do not worry, Bapak Ibu. In Atlas, we have conducted and we have implemented the national curriculum. All right. So it is already based on that curriculum. So have Mr. Kevin, have you done it? Oh, nice. That fast. Okay, there you go. Please.
Okay, so coming back again, right? So now it's time to do the writing assessment. So it looks like this. Answer the following questions in complete sentences. What do you like doing? So maybe I just say like, I like playing games. Right? What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a professional gamer. Talk about one of your friends. What does he or she like doing? What does he or she want to do when he or she grows up? Maybe my friend Nadia wants to become a teacher. She likes English so much. And then the second one, maybe, hmm, I don't like watching TV. I'm tired. And maybe, well, students do that, right? Sometimes they just don't answer properly. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm just gonna press submit. Okay. And seems like that's the end of the assessment. So I'll give it back to Miss Nadia, maybe to see how my score goes after submitting.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kevin. So, Bapak Ibu, when the students have there you go. Yeah, when students have done, okay, we will see the scores on our grade book. Okay, so do not worry. All of the assessments and also quizzes on our Atlas Online Learning, they are all auto grading. So yeah, so you don't need to be worried with all of the administrations things, okay, administrative tasks that you are going to have, because we will not give it to you. The system will do for you. Okay, so I will go to the class and then take a look at the grade book, or I will directly go to this one, grade, here, grade. Let's try. Okay, so I will go to this one, assessment. Here, yeah, because I haven't clicked it yet. Yeah. Okay, so this one, quiz, and also this one, this is the assessment grades. And then I will go to the class and click it to my class and see the grade book, right? Okay. All right, there you go. I, I haven't got your score yet, because I guess Mr. Kevin hasn't finished yet. Okay, do not worry. Yeah. So, uh, okay. So actually, when Mr. Kevin has finished that one, it will be here. Okay. So do not worry. Okay. So I already click English Play Builder. That's the book for my class, the first grader, and I will go to the class, and then I click it here. And I will go to grade book to find out, yeah, we're going to go to the grade book to find out your students assessment here. Okay, good. So since Mr. Kevin is already doing that one, do not worry. I will go to this one. So have you finished that one, Mr. Kevin? Okay, that's okay. All right. So here, there you go. Okay, so for example, I will go to the class again. Okay, this is for the trial one. I will go here and I will see the grade book. So when I click this, yeah, student assessment grades, I will have the summary of all of my students here, right? Okay, and then this one, the assessment the assessment contains vocabulary, grammar, reading, listening, writing, and also speaking. Okay, when I go to the details grades, I can see, right, the detail here. So yes, you have known, right? So this one, you have got the score of your students writing here. Okay, so can we see that? Yes, of course, we can see the details of our students' grade, because we as a teachers, I believe that we already, yeah, we are the one who knows our uh, students better, right? So that's why we have to take a look at the things that our students have done. Okay, so for example, you want to check his or her writing, you can go here. Okay, see, this is the question. This is the answer. All right. I don't like doing anything. Please stop asking me to write like this. Yeah, we cannot know, right? We cannot, yeah, we don't know our student's answer, and it can be that shocking. So here, yes, we have got the responses, and also we have got the scores, right? So we also have got the feedbacks here. Okay, so we have, as like what Mr. just like what Mr. Kevin stated, um, in Atlas we score the students writing by with these four aspects: the competence, the lexical, the grammar, and also the punctuation. Okay, so here we also can take a look at the feedbacks. The feedback is, yeah, contains the average score and also how to improve, right? And take a look at this one. The second question. Okay, I like watching TV every day. Oh, good. And this is the student's answer. And there you go. This is the average score. But well, I think this is since I know that these kids, for example, this student, I know this girl. I think, okay, for this student, he just or she just forgets to make it like in capital. So I guess I can just ignore the punctuation and I want to update the score, for example. We can have it, right? Because just like what I told you, we as a teacher still have all of the controls of this auto grading things in our online learning. So do not worry, Bapak Ibu. Yeah. Okay, so I will just ignore the punctuation. I will give around 8 because I understand the meaning of what the student have written, for example. And I will submit this one. There you go. It is updated already, right? Good. So then after that, we can have the summary and then also we can check the students can also have their grade directly updated on their own account. Okay, so that's how we try to help you teachers with your writing, yeah, with your students writing works. Okay, when you use our online learning, you don't need to have that papers, yeah, on your desk anymore because it's all auto grading. But then we still give you the full access so you can see and check and also adjust the scores. And you also can have the feedback that you can say that directly to your students. Okay, because we believe in writing, the most important thing is not only the score, but also the feedback. Okay, good. So, Mr. Kevin, do you think you want to add something? I guess you will. Please.
So I think there are a couple questions that we can answer from the chat. So I think the first one is, can they
Okay, okay.
submit more than once? I think that's a really good question. So am I lagging or are you lagging? Maybe one of us is. Okay, but I'll try to answer. So hopefully you can hear my voice. So the answer to submitting more than once, they can only submit once, so not more than once because this is like a formal assessment. But as a teacher, if let's say you want to allow students to take a remedial or you want them to retake the test one more time, you can set the schedule of the assessments again. So that is unlimited. So how many ever times you need them to do, and you can just assign that to the specific students that you want them to take the assessment on. But if it's just doing it like what we did just now, they can only take it once. So just to be fair with everybody else, because we want it to be a formal assessment, basically. And I think there's another question as well. When the teacher uses this Atlas AI, do all my students can they enter my class with AI freely, or they have to register too? Thank you. So basically, in order to have access to all these online features, the students need to have a book. So that means if you have 30 students, that means you need to have purchased 30 different accounts for students. So that means the students need to have their own books. Basically, yeah, and you can still contact the distributors for it because they can explain you more in detail in terms of like the pricing and things like that. Is there another question? That's what I need. Mr. Kevin being able to take remedial for those. Yes, of course. So basically as many times as you need it to be. And you can set the schedule to whenever you want it to be as well. So let's say you want to do it today or tomorrow, you can set the schedule up depending on your availability and the student's availability as well. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it from me, Miss Nadia. I'll give it back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kevin. So, yes, just like what Mr. Kevin stated. So, for example, if you want to have the rhythm code and also, okay, so if you want to have to use or to take a look at and give access code, you can click the request trial. That's on this one. Bapak Ibu, do not worry, I will give it. I will show you again. This one, request trial code, and I will give you. Yeah, later the team will give you after you have filled in the yes, the list there. Okay, so do you have any question, Bapak Ibu, regarding the things the features of Atlas, Atlas Online Learning that we have shown, or you are trying to use it directly? Okay. Okay, I guess Mr. Kevin, we have one more question from Thing in English. Is the AI feedback different for different levels? Like it is using simpler or shorter words for lower ones? Very great question.
That's a very good question. Yeah. So yes, we make it that way. So in terms of the prompts, we adjusted it depending on the difficulty levels. So because our curriculum is based on CFR, so the prompts are also based on CFR. So we have mentioned like this is for let's say pre-A1 students or this is for A1 students. So even the comments and also the way the writing is being graded, it depends on their CFR level. So obviously, if let's say they're making simple mistakes, basic English, but they're still in A1, maybe that's not being as focused on as it would be if it was for a higher level. So yeah, the answer is yes, it depends on each individual level itself.
Okay, so the last one, Bapak Ibu, I would like to show you the things that Mr. Kevin has stated, that has written in what is that? In his assessment. So here, yes. So we can take a look at here. Okay, so Mr. Kevin got 7 out of 10. Wow, good. Let's take a look at. All right. Okay, this is his answer. And then there is also some notes. This one, the punctuation, for example, he got 3 out of 4. Okay, this is correct, right? And then, so the score is 75%. All right, so the feedback is also here, right? Your response includes complete sentences with correct grammar usage. However, you missed answering one of the questions, right? Okay. And what about the second answer? Okay, I don't like watching TV, I'm tired. Okay. That's the answer of Mr. Kevin. Okay, so this is the score, right? 2.225 out of 4. And there is also the comment here. Yeah. So we have done, yes, you're one of, yeah, I can say that one of the difficult tasks that I have as a teacher. Grading writing assessment. Okay, so do not worry, Bapak Ibu. So from now on, okay, you can use our Atlas Online Learning, and then it is directly there for you. So you can have this one. You can directly say this one, the comments to your students orally, or okay, you can also try to help what is that, typing that one, but do not worry, later this comment will be shown on our students profile. Okay, so they also can directly see that. Okay, because one of the important things of having feedback is also telling the feedback and giving the feedback for the students, right? For for the sake of what is that, reflection for themselves. Okay, so I think that's all what we can have today, right, Mr. Kevin?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so Bapak Ibu, how do you know the right levels of Okay, thank you, Mr. Kevin. You have answered that one. We can use the diagnostic test. You can click on your website test.hyatlaz.com. Yeah, it is available for all of the ages and all of the levels. Okay, I think that's all for our today's agenda, Bapak Ibu. And now, before we go, I would like to uh, give you, I guess I forget to ask Mr. Kevin, what is the keyword for today's webinar, Mr. Kevin?
Okay, so there are actually 3 words, but very simple and very short. So the keywords for today are be AI literate. One more time. Be AI literate. So I believe Miss Nadia will type it in the chat box. There you go. That's it. With E. There's a typo from Miss Nadia. So she's going to cheat. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Masunati. Yeah. Perfect. Good job, everybody. Okay, I'll get back to Miss Nadia.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much, teachers. Okay. Thank you so much for correcting me. Yeah, good. So that's the first keyword, be AI literate. So, and then there's also a question later on the present list that you have to answer. You have to write down the name of our AI features, yeah, that we have released. Okay, so thank you so much for thank you so much for being here and staying until now, Bapak Ibu. And we are going to meet again on our next webinar. Please do not forget to follow our Instagram at hi.atlaz to have yes, the updated webinars. Okay, and then do not forget to fill in the present list to get your 2 hours credit certificate. It will be sent to your email within 5 days. Okay, so the latest will be on March 8th. So do not worry. We will also send the materials through your email. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today. If you have just joined, do not worry. There will be what is that, YouTube video that will be sent also to you. Okay, thank you. See you on our next webinar. Bapak Ibu, have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Lulu takes the score. Louis couldn't catch the ball since he didn't anticipate the gravity loss.
there you are.
Hey, Nick, why are you soaking wet?
Hey guys, the weather is so hot today.
Heat the butter or oil in a large saute pan. Add the kimchi and onion and saute over medium heat until the onion becomes golden. Finally, add salt and transfer to a plate. Top the
That
serving.
evening, there was a ngerupuk parade. It's a traditional parade where people would march on the streets.
Okay, Bapak Ibu, I will end the session. See you on our next